Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at the Productivity 2000 PLC ladder logic outputs. Now the Productivity Suite software comprises of more than 82 instructions divided into 14 categories. These instructions include out, set, reset, or out, flasher, debounce, timed, toggle, program end, and no operation. Coils or outputs are one of these categories of ladder logic instructions to program your Productivity PLC controller. Ladder logic outputs or coils are in every PLC program. We will be looking at these instructions in the Productivity 2000 series PLC. We will also look at organizing your favorite instructions. This will make them easier to find when you're programming the Productivity PLC. Let's get started. Detailed information contained in the video can be found at accautomation.ca. A link has been put in the description below. If you have not watched the other videos yet, there'll be links in the description below that will start your video 1. There'll be links to the rest of the videos in the series as well. So, the first thing we'll do is take a look at the Productivity PLC instruction list. Now the instruction list provides access to the programming instructions for creating ladder logic. The instruction list is displayed on the main menu screen and it can be placed anywhere. If your instruction list is not shown, it can be accessed through the Tools menu. So here what we do is, here's the instruction list, and you'll see that right now our layout is locked. If we unlock it, you will have access now to move this instruction list anywhere you'd like onto the ladder. So we can move that anywhere we'd like to do it. And we can actually then close this off if we wish through this X. At any time that we want, we can go back to Tools and then hit Instruction List again to pop it back up. So let's move it back to where we had it, which is right here. And then we can lock that layout. When you lock the layout, you can also go to your Show Desktop. What this will do is allow you to make the screen a little larger so that you can have more of your ladder logic showing. This is especially true on smaller monitors. So over here, we can then hit the instruction list and then see our coils that we're trying to program here. So let's unlock that and we'll show our desktop, or not show our desktop. So here's what we got. Now, if we look at our actual instructions themselves, there's a couple of different ways we can actually place these over to the ladder logic. We can go to where it is here and we can actually type in our mnemonic. In this case here, we have an out contact. So here's my out coil right here. And we can type in the OUT at that location. We can also position our cursor at the end of the ladder rung and we can double click on this. Or the third option is we can click and hold and then drag that output over to the output side. So 3 different ways in which we can get our instruction from our instruction list over to our ladder logic rung. So the other thing we do is we also have these favorites. So in order to quickly find your information, we can go to the output coil. We can right click on that and we can hit add to favorites. When we do, it'll automatically come up to add to favorites. So we can create a list of customized instructions that we just go to one location in our instructions itself to actually call up that instruction and see exactly what we want. So in order to delete that favorites, we can right click again and remove from favorites. So we can always constantly be adding and subtracting from that favorites to get what we want in our PLC. So let's take a look at our example here and all the different outputs that we have and coils for the PLC ladder logic. And the first thing we will do is take a look at our hardware that we have here. And we have our CPU unit, a Productivity P2 550 CPU. We have our inputs. We have our outputs here. We have an 8-point output. We have a 16 input, and we have a simulator input 8-point. And the first one here, we have switch number 1, which will trigger our output 1. And this actually output coil or out provides an output that responds to the state of the rung. So if we have the switches on, the output is on. So let's just turn on switch number 1 now. And you will see that we have switch number 1 on, and output number 1 is now on too. And you can see the corresponding ladder here. Now if we actually look at the instruction itself, you can see that we have an output coil. We also have a one-shot. The one-shot will provide that on condition for one scan only when that switch is on. So in our case here, we are not using the one-shot at all. So it goes by the scan itself of the PLC. And remember, the scan of the PLC, what it will do is it will actually read our inputs, execute our program, do our diagnostics and communication, and then update the outputs. And that does it cyclically. So it means that every time it's scanning this PLC. So at the end of every scan, it will update and fire our output here. So the next instruction we have that we're going to take a look at is our flasher. Now what the output will do is it will cycle an output bit on and off at a programmed rate. So here is my flasher instruction right here, and we have switch number 2, which indicates a flasher, and the flasher actually will flash in this case here at 100 or 1000 milliseconds or 1 second. So if we look at our timing chart for that flasher, you will see that we have the enable flasher, which is our run condition, which is switch number 2. Then our flasher itself, you'll see at the leading edge of the enable, it turns on the output and then off the output. So 1 cycle time is what we're actually programming, which is the 1000 milliseconds. That means that our output is actually on for half a second and off for half a second. So let's try that out. We will take a look and we will turn on switch number 2. When we do, what you'll see is, again, we have our output turning on and off at the 1 second interval, or the cycle. So that is our flasher. And a quick instruction like this is very helpful for things like alarms on a machine. So let's just turn that switch number 2 off. There we go. And our next instruction, which is a unique one, is called a Debounce coil, or DBN. And what the Debounce coil will do is eliminate our output coil chatter due to run-enabled contact bouncing. And chatter will occur if your logic allows things to turn on and off quickly. And if we compare input to that, if we compare the input and that input changes quickly above or below the compared number, this will create chatter. So, for example, our current scan of the PLC is 100 milliseconds, or sorry, 100 microseconds. So you see that if we had a switch that bounces, or we have an analog signal that rapidly changes and we want to look at a specific point in that analog signal, then what we'll do is we could use a debounce circuit. In our case here, what we're doing is we're looking at the last scan time for our logic, and we're comparing it to 2. So you can see here that I have, anywhere from less than 100 microseconds up to just over 200 microseconds, depending on what the scan time is doing. So it's a very quick scan time in our Productivity 2000 PLC. And then what we do is we have an output, our debounce coil right here. So if we looked at that, we have an on time of milliseconds. So we said 1 second on or 1 second off is creating our debounce. And we have output number 3. So looking at the timing chart, what you'll see is that our input itself, once it is on for more than the time duration, which is 1 second, then the output turns on. And when the off time is more than that off time duration, which is 1 second, it turns off. Anytime in between, it will not. So what this is telling me right now is that our scan time is less than 200 microseconds right now, because our output number 3 is currently on. So that is our debounce. Very nice, useful circuit for us. Our next instruction is the OR out instruction. And what the OR out instruction will do, it allows an output coil with the same tag to be used on multiple rungs. Now, so what you see here is I have switch number 3, or I have a battery low bit, and I have a switch number 4 bit. All of them are on the same rung. So we use an OR output itself in order to trigger that output. So let's take a look at that, and I'll turn on switch number 3. And when I do, you can see now that our output number 4 is enabled. Now, that means that we can have multiple sections of this code and multiple rungs here triggering the same output as an OR condition for the actual output itself. Now, the ability to have the same output in multiple rungs may make troubleshooting of your logic difficult. Now, in my experience, this instruction should be avoided unless it makes sense to do it in a certain logic that you're doing your program in. So that is the OR out instruction. Next is one of the common ones, in the set and reset. And the set coil will set the output in a latch condition when the rung is enabled, and the reset will reset the output or unlatch the corresponding set coil. So the set and reset instructions are used together to turn on and off outputs. This is similar to the simple start-stop circuit that we discussed previously in our P2000 series PLC. So in our case here, we have switch number 5 will set it, and switch number 6 will reset. So let's just try that out. Switch number 5. It turns on and it sets it. And then we have switch number 6. We'll reset it. Now note that I have the reset coil below the set coil, so that it overrides it based on the scan time or the scan sequence of the PLC. Remember, it reads left to right, top to bottom. So that means that the first line will set it, the next one will reset it. So if I turn on switch number 5, or sorry, switch number 6, you can see the set still remains on. If I turn off switch number 5, we have the set. So the order in which you do the set and reset will determine whether that comes on or off to on. So remember, the last thing controlling your bit is the one that overrides any previous conditions. Next we have is a time coil. Now, the time coil will hold the state of the output on for a predetermined time. Now, if we look at the timing chart, you'll see the instruction input time comes on, and once we have that leading edge of that on signal, then the output turns on for that time length period. It doesn't matter if that input condition turns off again during that time, it only does it the once. And our output can be maintained or not maintained based on the output itself. So if the output is maintained, then it will follow after that time period. As long as the output or the instructions for the rung are on, it will remain on. If it's off, then it will turn off and just do that one cycle. So if we look at our instruction here, you'll see that we did have it as a one shot, and we have output number 7 on our time coil. Okay. Or sorry, that's our toggle coil. Our time coil is right up here. Oh, and there we go, time coil. And you'll see our output here is our time coil. It is 100 or 1,000 milliseconds or 1 second. And we are not output maintained. So we'll just hit OK for that. And it's on switch number 7 here. So switch number 7 turns on, and then we will have an output turn on for 1 second. So let's see that in operation. So you can see that I turned off that coil halfway between. If I held it and maintained it, because we don't maintain it, it should just go on and off just like we did there. Which is exactly what happened. So that is our time coil, and we can set that for anything. So sometimes that's good if we're starting up a machine and we want to make sure it's started, or give a warning signal that it's going to start soon. Next we have our toggle. And our toggle coil, what it will do is do a flip-flop. So what happens is it changes the state of the output each time the rung is enabled. So in other words, if I turn it on and the output is off, it turns on, or if it's on, it turns off. So in our example, when switch number 8 is turned on, the output will change state, and if it is on, then it will be turned off. If it is off, it turns on. We have a previous post that explains the creating a flip-flop in the PLC circuit, which you'll see the link below. If we're looking at the timing chart, you can see that my input state takes on a leading edge, and the leading edge of that input will trigger the output turn on, and then a trailing edge of that same input will do nothing. It keeps the output on, and the next leading edge of that input will toggle that input off. So let's try that out, and you will see that if I turn on number 8, our output, number 7 turns on. If I turn off number 8, 7 is maintained, and turning on 8 again. 7 is reset, turning off, and it remains off. So that is the toggle. And then we have another couple of operations. We have a no operation, and the no operation indicates that the rung will have no output or operation. It's sometimes used as a placeholder in the ladder logic. As you're programming, you can remember to put some rungs in there just as an indicator to yourself that there's more logic to go in there. And finally, we have the ladder logic end. And the ladder logic end here, what this will do is it marks the end of that task and tells the CPU unit to go back to the start to start that next scan, because this section is complete. So that is our output coils on our Productivity 2000 PLC. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button below. If you have any questions about the video, please leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer it. If you want more information about us, or you want our free ebooks on numbering systems or robust data logging, please click on the link in the description below to get it. A new video is put every Monday, so make sure you hit the subscribe button to get more videos like this in the future. Remember to click the bell beside your subscription to actually receive those notifications. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Stay safe.